Hi, welcome back to Crazy Artist 101. This is Judy, and I am back again for another video. This time to better introduce myself and the artwork that I do. Now, needs to say again, both me and Rebecca have our own arts that we're better at, and Rebecca will be doing her own videos as well. Now, we'll of course combine together on certain videos, which we can both explain in different viewpoints. Now, for me, I'm just going to go ahead and explain my art so you can best see what I've done in the past, and some of them are the more present art as well, and then of course also see some of the tips and tricks that might be coming your way. Now, I started off with 2D art first. Needless to say, I was a high school student who doodled on her notes. I love to draw. I've always had that passion to draw ever since I was probably about 3. Back in the YMCA, I got a double dog dare and I had to keep it going. So I definitely did more 2D art, and that's definitely my area of expertise. While I love to do 3D art, I love to do computer animation and even computer art, 2D art was definitely where I am probably most experienced in, so I'm definitely better at it, because art, like anything else, is a skill where practice makes perfect. So needless to say, my graphic pencil tends to be a little bit better than necessarily my painting style. So there's a bit of back and forth there, but I definitely go back to my pencil drawings every now and then. But honestly, I am a jack of all trades, and I kind of do a little bit of everything. So I also tend to explore a lot when it comes to different styles. I always love to find that new art form that gives me the inspiration and that drive to do more art, because to me, I love to be inspired by a new art style, and sometimes I will try something and enjoy it just because of the process it took to create that work of art, not necessarily the results that I got from it. A lot of time for me, art is more of self-gratification. Now, of course, some people will see it as like, well, you know what, it needs to be more of a job. Everyone's got their own viewpoints, and I love it as a job and, love it as a hobby. I, again, started off with drawing, as I had told you before, and needless to say, I am a big dork, and I believe I've said this in our intro, but love anime, love comics, and needless to say, I created my own. Most of those comics did not see the light of day or any type of public domain, because they just let my friends read them and enjoy it, and I enjoy them myself whenever I go back. I think the only set that actually showed up was my AWA mini comics, where I made a weekly post of comics based off of my experience at Anime Weekend in Atlanta, where I sold my art in the artist alley. Had a humongous blast. I definitely plan on going back to another artist alley soon to continue to sell my artwork and just plain and simply enjoy myself. Now, we're moving into the world of color. We're no longer in black and white. Now, if any of you guys have started off in black and white and try to move into color, you guys are going to very quickly understand that color is a different beast in and of itself. Now, some people pick it up and it'll be just, like they were born with it. Oh yeah, wait, we were. Anyways, so some people pick it up fairly quickly, but other people will have a little bit more harder time because they've been living in the world of black and white with their art for so long that it's kind of hard to transition over to color. I was one of those people, but then again, practice makes perfect, and I'm slowly getting myself better and back up to par for what I understand to be my art. Now, we're moving on to my college career here. I am a graduate, so I have unfortunately moved on to college, and I have lost all the lovely, lovely studios I used to have to work with. College was lovely because it helped to feed the hunger and drive I had for that jack-of-all-trades mentality. And I got to do just a little bit of everything, such as printmaking, which is here with the intaglio print, and lithography, which is, again, another printmaking form. And, of course, we went on to ceramics. Now, again, lost a lot of the things, such as a ceramics wheel or even a jewelry-making lab. Really enjoyed being able to go into a little bit of everything, and definitely missed a lot of aspects of the studio that I left behind. But again, we all grow up, we all, get ourselves a lovely job, and we continue our own explorations in our own way. So while I might not have a jewelry making studio anymore, I have transferred that passion and moved it on to wire wrapping. And eventually I'm going to make up my own studio by slowly and, consistently buying my own tools and supplies in order to create my own studio at my own house. Now, college also tend to open up a new avenue. I was already interested in photography before college, but definitely started exploring it and just, exploding with it when I actually went into my first photography class. And in all honesty, I tend to walk around with a camera no matter where I go. So again, I love just about anything I could do with it, even drawing with light, as you can see here. And you can pretty much always find me with a camera no matter where I'm at. And now we're going to move on to the world of color that I actually like. Well, painting I do enjoy. I can definitely only do that for a small amount of time, but I can sit at my computer with Photoshop for hours on end and be totally perfectly fine. Now, of course, you poor people who don't have tablets, I feel for you, because I worked without a tablet for years and years and years until I finally broke down and bought probably the cheapest tablet I could find. Definitely worth the buck if you can learn how to use it properly. There is a new skill in using a tablet, especially when you're used to using a mouse for so long. But both of these, both this one and this one here, were done on Photoshop, and it's definitely where I do most of my color works at now. Now this lovely baby is something you've actually seen before if you've watched the intro to my YouTube channel. This would be the scythe from my Ruby cosplay, and it's the most recent thing that I've made. Definitely the most recent thing that I've got on this picture slide. So I do plan on coming out with a video on how I made this scythe, but if you guys are more interested in that coming out first, please leave comments and let me know, because she is done, she is gorgeous, and I did love making her, and it isn't the reason why I chose Ruby from RWBY. I slightly have always had a dream of having a big giant scythe to swing around. Now, we're back into my cosplay section of my art forms. This is definitely the more recent inspiration of my arts. I've been working with costuming for probably about 3 years now, and yes, I would say that's young for me. And again, I love doing costuming, love making my own outfits. I would basically go around and look at other outfits and realize it's not the type of fabric I like, so I like to make it my own way and as specific as I want it to be. And also, I tend not to wear them out too much, except for if I go off to conventions. I'll pretty much just use them out there and just go have a blast with my friends and do silly things like this. Now again, my costuming comes from that plain and simple drive of fashion design that I used to do anyways. It all came from my comic side of things. I was already doing illustrations with my comics, and I pretty much expanded my comics into a fashion design sense. And of course, Halloween, you gotta have your costumes. Well, I would plain and simply go out and say, you know what, this is what I want to dress up with, this is how I would like to look, and I can't find this anywhere in the stores, so you know what, I'm gonna go buy my own fabric and make my own costumes. And that's pretty much where my costuming came from. Now, I personally tend to always draw my outfits out first, and then I make it. So I am one of those ones who do the drawn out patterns instead of the store-bought patterns, and that's can be good and bad in its own right. Now, Rebecca is always getting on my case for my trial and error methodology to my pattern makings for creating any type of costumes, but everyone's got their own way of making things, and if you want more understandings on how to read a pattern or even how to modify a pattern to best fit your own measurements, please leave a comment. I will definitely get Rebecca on that, because she would be the person to talk to you about reading patterns and modifying patterns so that they best fit your own measurements. Because I know for me personally, the measurements are always a bit wonky, and there's always something that's a little bit off when I want it to fit a very specific way. Now, while I have done tons and tons of cosplays, I unfortunately don't have a lot of documentation of those cosplays, because as you can see in this picture here, I tend to be the person behind the camera instead of in front of the camera. So, whoopsie, no photos of most of my costumes. Although, if you guys are really needy for them, I can probably go just throw them back on and take some photos for you guys for that. But either way, this is me. That was my artwork, and I would love to hear back from you guys on what kind of videos you'd like to hear from first, whether it's the Ruby scythe or if it's something more on the lines of Photoshop or even shading in general, please let me know what kind of videos you would be interested in. Also, if there's any videos you want Rebecca to talk to you guys about in the costume making side of things, or even pattern reading or any of the such, please again leave us a few comments, like us, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later on the next slide.